Do you think it is better for a client to be charged by the hour? Exactly what hourly rate would that be? £100 an hour, 200, or even £300 an hour? Maybe you think there is a better way than the typical 3% times the investment and considering all options. Or maybe you charge by percentage but struggling to explain the merits when compared to hourly rates. My name is Andrew Goodwin, and this is a short presentation on the failing of charging by the hour. Presentation number 30. Today I'm going to focus on hourly charges, part of the advisor fee charging trilogy. We've looked at percentage charging, fixed rates, and now we're going to look at the hourly charge. So I was looking for a definition and I came across this definition by the Urban Dictionary. When you see a truck going 10 to 15 miles per hour under the speed limit, it's a good bet the driver is being paid hourly and not per job. Also, the job is probably unpleasant, so getting to it is not a priority. In other words, straight away, you can tell that the hourly charge is not good for efficiency. Probably one of the best quotes about hourly charges is this one by Jim Rohn, the entrepreneur and motivational speaker. You don't get paid by the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. That is the fundamental basis of this presentation, to try and get advisors to think about the value they create for the charge and not turning everything into time and hourly rates. For those who haven't seen the earlier presentations, just a quick recap then. You can charge as an advisor by the percentage. Fairly familiar. It's what happened under the years of commission. You might want to charge a typical rate of 3%. Or you might charge a fixed fee for a specific job or task, in pounds maybe, £500, £1,000, whatever it might be. Or you might charge by the hour. And as laid out at the outset, is that £100, £200 or £300 per hour? Is it more? Is it less? Is it something more complex? In theory, though, whatever you charge, they always end up as the same fee. It's just a formula to arrive at a fee. And remember, all fees are made up. Let us take a look at a fee comparison. Consider a client who is investing £100,000 with you. The classic method, and the one we use at Truly Independent, is a percentage charge. So in this case, if the advisor wanted to charge our typical rate of 3% against that £100,000, it would be £3,000. Of course, another financial advisor in a different firm may have adopted the fixed charging structure, and their fixed rate may well also be £3,000. Then we come across the hourly rate, the individual who wants to charge £300 per hour for his time. He estimates that this job will take 10 hours, and that's £3,000. So clearly, 3 different methods, 3 different formulas, all arriving at exactly the same fee for the client. As I said, all fees are made up. But which one of these actually takes 10 hours to deliver? In truth, hourly rates provide no incentive for efficiency. If you're charging £300 an hour and you've told the advisor it's going to take you 10 hours, that's what they'll get charged. It's very rare that you turn around to the client and say, actually only took me 7 hours. Therefore, there's no incentive for that individual advisor to go any quicker, just like the lorry driver at the beginning of this presentation. So clearly, by looking at the last example, the hourly rate disadvantages the client. Consider a client who comes along maybe in the afternoon with £200,000. Not a bad day, 2 big cases. So let's apply the same percentage rates. 3% of £200,000 is £6,000. And this is the argument against percentage rates. If you charge 3%, all of a sudden, because there's a larger investment, generally the same amount of money, the argument is that you effectively, in this case, doubling that premium. It becomes very expensive. It's £6,000 for someone who's got twice the investment, it's twice the fee. Then we look at the fixed rate. Of course, it's fixed. So it doesn't matter what the investor is investing, it's £3,000. Equally, the hourly rate, 10 hours at £300 per hour, is £3,000. But which one of these cannot change? The percentage rates can drop when appropriate. The fixed fee cannot change, it's fixed. The hourly rate can't change. If it takes 10 hours to do the job for the guy in the morning, it's going to take 10 hours to do virtually the same job for the guy in the afternoon. The sum shouldn't make any difference. So it equally is £3,000. However, when you charge a percentage rate, you can adjust your percentage across a broad spectrum. A 1% charge would make this the lowest cost at just £2,000. At Truly Independent, we charge between a range of 0% for initial advice up to 4%, typically 3%. It depends on the amount of work that the advisor has to do, the complexity of the job, and maybe even whether that individual has been such a regular client that they're just investing maybe £200,000 on top of a previous 20 million. Who knows? It might be an opportunity to give that client who's a good client a charge of 0%. The other argument here for percentages against the hourly rates is we've got to charge a little bit more for a higher value investment for the simple reason that turnover, that assets under management, adds to your liability. And the bigger the investment, the bigger the liability, the bigger the insurance premiums. They have to pay for that in some way and some form for that protection. One of the arguments I hear on a regular basis in favour of hourly rates, from a business point of view, that they are professional. They're in line with accountants and solicitors. But this is rubbish. You don't have to charge an hourly rate to be professional. In fact, it creates a negative cash flow cycle because you have to know how many hours were worked before sending out a bill. It forces employees to fill out timesheets and record phone calls and emails. Earnings are limited by the number of hours. If you've only got 40 hours in a week, you can't earn any more than those 40 hours. How do you expand your business? In order to get 80 hours, you need another individual, or you do the 80 hours yourself and are therefore working Saturdays, possibly Sundays. And therefore growth tends to be proportional to staff numbers. Whenever I've seen a solicitor's practice or an accountant's practice, it is full of people who are charging by the hour, by the minute. So it provides a disincentive for your employees to work quickly and efficiently. Ultimately, people in your company with a bloated and slow-moving set of clock watchers. It does not encourage efficiency. At Truly Independent, we have 10 advisors and only 1 member of staff. Many firms will have 10 advisors and 10 staff. That makes it expensive. When it comes to the client point of view, just remember it's the value you produce for the client in the hour, not the hourly rate. An hourly rate, when a client sees it for the first time thinking about going for advice, it will put them off calling you. They will think they're going to be charged by the hour. Speed is also not an incentive. They recognize that these hours could be dragged out 10, 15 hours. There's an unknown quantity of invoice due. And clients will happily pay for results, not time. That's an important factor. They really don't care how much they charge. Okay, they do care as long as it's not ridiculous. But in the end, as long as you're satisfying what they're looking for, which is advice, long-term growth and returns on investments and guidance, what could be financial planning for the best part of 30 or 40 years, then the initial advice they're happy to pay for. So where is an hourly rate effective? Well, one way is to use it as an efficiency measure. Don't charge by the hour, but use it to measure how efficient you have become as a business. When advisors come in our induction course, we occasionally ask them, what do you charge a client who invests £15,000 into an ISA? And in that charge, they must include all the calls that they make, any travel, any discussion with the client, any preparation of reports, the implementation of the product they recommended, right the way through to completion when they send out the thank you letter and all checks have been completed, paid, and we are at an end point. And it's surprising how different the results are. And here's just a few examples. So let's say advisor number one would charge the client £600, and the time that they would spend on this would be 10 hours. So for an efficiency measure, that works out at £60 per hour that they've earned, the time and the charge divided by each other. And if you decide, well, I would like to, if I was going to charge an hourly rate, I would like to charge £150 an hour. That's what I would do if I was going to charge by the hour. Then in effect, you've only earned £60 an hour in this efficiency measure. So you're 40% away from your measure, from your target of £150 an hour. So it tells you that you need to improve. And for this individual, they probably need to improve in all areas to get that 40% up. If you look at the next individual, and these are real examples taken from our induction course, again, £600 charge, time spent 5 hours. Well, this guy clearly is far more efficient than the first one. That works out at £120 per hour, and therefore, based on his efficiency target, is 80% efficiency. You're therefore looking at a development which is pretty neat, usually just to improve their own skills and experience with our existing technology. Trying to get that 5 hours down to 4, not a difficult task. And then there are two more examples of a slightly lower charge. Someone who's charging our typical 3%, so £450 charge, time spent 10 hours, £45 an hour. So has a similar problem to the earlier guy who needs to improve in all areas, but is also not able to recognize that he can actually charge a little bit more. Our charges go up to 4%. At 30% efficiency, he's got to ask himself if he's in the right job. This is financial services, and this is an opportunity not only to help individuals and make sure that they're making money by saving and investing in the right areas for their risk profile, but also it's the opportunity for the individual to make money. So if they're at 30% efficiency and earning something like £45 per hour, they really have to think, should they be doing something else? And then again, £450 charge with 3 hours time spent on it. This is the most efficient guy in the room in the induction course. That works out an hourly equivalent rate of £150 per hour. So the efficiency measure against his target of £150 per hour is 100%. This guy's making money. Why? He's charging less than anybody else, but he can see 3 clients at that rate compared to the earlier guy who I said maybe should be doing something else. So making your business efficient means you can do twice as much or even 3 times as much, and that's where you make your money. A good task is to try this yourself. Each week, at the end of the week, when you're just about to finish on a Friday, maybe a Saturday, but at the end of your week, before you finish off, just add up the total time you've spent at work or working to the nearest hour. At the same time, add up all the income you've received that week. You should know what it is if you've got a good, efficient system. And then divide that total income by the time you spent at work, and what you end up with is an hourly rate. Now, hopefully, that hourly rate is over £100 per hour. Whatever it is, each week you should do that, maybe start to graph it, and see if you can improve it. If you start off at £50 a week, and the next week it's £60 a week, and after a while you started going up to £100 a week, you've probably improved something in your business. You've either got better at your IT, you've got better at quicker phone calls, maybe you're traveling less. We should be now. We're all on Teams, or whatever it is that's part of your week that you can look at and go, I can improve that. Just by improving a little bit of your business each week, your hourly rate will go up. You can't improve your hourly rate if you fix an hourly rate. All you can do is charge clients more time. This way, charging percentages and being far more efficient yourself, you'll be far more productive. So to summarize, a company that uses hourly rate to set the price for their service incorrectly believes, whether they know it or not, that time is their most valuable asset. It is not. Time is not your most valuable asset at all. Your most valuable asset is your ability to set out a plan or plans of action which are understood, measured, and monitored to ensure that your client, with your guidance, achieves their goals and the financial outcome they desire. Okay, this slide tells me I've come to the end of this presentation. The next 2 or 3 presentations will move into marketing, and I want to focus on websites. Do I need one? Would be the question. So join me next time for more insight. As usual, for more information, please go to happyfinancialadvisors.co.uk. Why not search trulyifa.co.uk for an advisor, talk to our advisors, or buy the book, The Happy Financial Advisor, on Amazon. Thank you.